Welcome to Focus TV. I am Lillian Garcia, and I am a singer-songwriter, and I was with the WWE for 15 years hosting there. I use my voice for everything, including my podcast, Chasing Glory, and I wanted to bring this to you because I think it's so important. If you are someone that uses your voice, you need to find the right person to work with you. So I have somebody here in the studio that I'm going to introduce, my vocal coach, Arden Kaywin. Welcome to Focus TV.
Thank you.
First of all, when I signed up for this 4-month intensive, and we'll talk about that, I didn't know what that really meant, but I was like, I'm going for it. I'm doing this. I'm going to see where this leads me. You started sending me meditations every morning, which I never really did because I can't stand still. But now I look forward to it. And through the different meditations, and you change them up every few weeks, I was like blown away, the messages that I'm getting, but also the questions that you started asking me. And I want you to kind of dive into what this 4-month intensive is. And tell us the difference on that.
Yeah. Well, it operates on a principle that I have come to learn, which is that when you change your thinking, you change your singing. And for a lot of singers who are really dedicated to their craft, either professionals or aspiring professionals, there is something that happens where, and we're talking about singers who are really talented and have wonderful voices, but they reach a point, and I think you experienced this, where you reach a point with your voice where you feel like, I know there's another level in there.
Yeah.
And I've heard it in bits and pieces, maybe in a lesson here or in a performance there, but I can't access it consistently. Mm-hmm. And it's very frustrating because you feel like you've reached a ceiling. And even though there's part of you that knows there's something beyond the ceiling, you can't get there.
Right.
And that's when the thinking is interfering with the singing. I can give a singer so much technique, and you know me, I work my singers really hard in technique, right? But there's a point at which you have all the technique. You know what you're supposed to be doing in that moment, but yet your body is like, hell no, because your brain is in either some kind of anxiety about the future, like you're thinking about the high note that you have to sing 3 pitches from now, and so your whole body has seized up because you're scared because you don't trust what you have in that moment, or you're reliving some past trauma about when you were, 12 years old and, the stupid choir director told you can't sing high, you're an alto. And so you have carried this belief that you can't sing high your entire life. And so you're terrified of it. And these are just silly examples, but they get in there. They get into the mindset. And so the 4-month intensive is about unpacking the stories that you've been telling yourself, unpacking the beliefs that don't serve you anymore, that cause the tensions that you're holding in your body. Because we all understand that we physicalize our feelings, we physicalize our emotions. And for me, over a decade-long deep dive into mindfulness and in my own life, I'm seeing that firsthand, that when I feel something in my emotions, I also take it into my body in some way. Yeah. It's just part of being human. We all do it. But when we take that into our singing and we are unaware of how we're taking that into our singing, we can't fully use our technique efficiently. So the 4-month intensive is designed to help singers change their thinking so they can change their singing. And it's through the guided meditations, through the thought exercises, and then bringing that into the studio, those new awarenesses, those new ideas that you were saying, it's blowing your mind.
It's blowing my mind. Literally, I'll finish typing things out, and I'm like, I had no idea that I was thinking this way.
Right. And then you wonder, well, why it was so hard for me to do X, Y, and Z. And then you see the mindset that you have around X, Y, and Z. And you're like, the story I love to tell is of a student of mine who's a wonderful singer. She's super talented. And this is somebody who school was really hard for her growing up. And there was a lot of, I think, lack of self-esteem and shame and lack of self-worth when it came to school. But singing was the thing that she was always good at. And so her entire self-worth, self-esteem was tied up in singing, and her entire hopes for the future and career and everything was tied up in singing and her voice. And that's a lot of pressure to put on this one little thing,
right? Right.
And so you take all of that into the recording studio. She's a recording artist. And no wonder her producer called me and said, when we're just messing around, she's amazing. But once the mic's turned on, there's something that happens, and she becomes safe, and she starts to kind of squeeze. The sound gets a bit squeezed, and I can't merge those two. I can't get her to be that free, amazing singer that I hear when we're just messing around when it matters, because she's taking all of that stuff and putting it into that one moment and embodying it and squeezing. And so the sound sounds like that, right? So through the work of the intensive, about 6 weeks in, she started realizing, oh my God, like, well, I have a voice, but I am not a voice. I'm all these other things.
Right.
And, you know, once my job in facilitating this is to help singers make the connections between the meditations and the thought exercises and what you're becoming aware of, and then taking it into the lessons, into the vocal studio, so that then I can say, okay, so you're having trouble with this one section. Remember a couple weeks ago when we were talking about all that old stuff and X, Y, and Z and how it made you physicalize those fears and tensions? Okay, well, that's this.
Yeah.
You're bringing that right here. And then help them to move past it. And it's all just awareness. It's amazing. I don't do very much, believe it or not. You guys are doing all the work. And, you know, a couple minutes ago, you asked me how I'm different.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I'm different. I'm asking you, as one of my students, to get under the hood and understand the mindset behind why you have these tensions and habits. I can point out the tension and the habit. Oh, that used to drive me crazy when I was a young singer and a student. When a voice teacher would point out to me, oh, you have a lot of tension in your jaw when you sing. Okay.
Okay, then what?
What am I supposed to do to that? Oh, you know what? Try some yoga classes, oh, okay. Nothing linked it to singing, you know?
Right.
And so the reason I'm offering the intensive and the reason I work the way I do with such a focus on mindfulness and understanding what you're doing in the body from a mindset perspective is because, in my experience, those tensions and habits that are affecting you being able to really implement the best technique come from a emotional mindset place.
Yeah.
And they're not just going to go away because you take a yoga class.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. No.
But I'm sure in your experience, you understand how once you start to have the awareness, it's actually, you can actually let go of these physical things. It's quite amazing. And nothing brings me greater joy than when I have a student and I can see the smile behind the eyes as you're making the sound, because you know you have A, never made a sound like that before, B, it felt amazing, and C, it sounded amazing.
Yeah, I know. It is such a great feeling. I love that. I love it. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm so glad that you could share this whole thing, that I could let you guys in on my little secret of what I do for vocal lessons. And I'm telling you guys, you will not be sorry to try this avenue. The most you can do is just try it. Just see if it's for you. I know that's definitely changed things for me, and will hopefully help somebody else out there. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us here on Focus TV.